I'm Chris Nesi, host of Behind the Mic, Voices of the EPN, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to this episode of the High Tech Podcast. This is one of your co-hosts, William Illingworth, joined by Joshua Swartz, the other co-host. You there?
Nope, I changed my name.
Yep, you changed your name?
Yeah, I changed it.
What is it, Van Damme?
That's what it is. Van Damme. I changed it to Van Damme.
Van Damme?
Yeah. That's
Named
what
for?
I did. From this moment, because I didn't really think through this bit. I just kind of started it hoping a name would come to me, you know? And guess what, listeners? It didn't. No name appeared to me. I know it's probably not obvious by this super ironed out introduction.
Hey, we're here for the cringe, my friend. If it's more cringy,
exactly.
it's more better.
Yeah,
Let's just
so
like saying more better.
Yeah, that was the best way to say it.
More cringy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey folks, we're back. It's episode 119. Wow. Quick reminder. In November of 2023. So I never know when you're going to listen to this episode, but if it's not yet November 2023,
the majority of them might be listening to it on October 3rd.
But people will hopefully do this in the future beyond that.
I mean, probably. Who knows? Okay.
We digress.
All people, no matter where you are in time, space, or the world.
You are. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But in November of 2023, specifically, our episode for Behind the Mic with Chris Nesi from the Education Podcast Network will go live. We want you to look forward to that. Behind the Mic is going to give an insight into how all of the podcasters on the Education Podcast Network do their thing. And why, and some of the technical issues, some of all that fun stuff. So we enjoyed that interview with Chris. Look forward to that. You can find that at the edupodcastnetwork.com website, where the Behind the Mic has its own little podcast page. I was trying to remember to promotionalize that. Promotionalize. That's a new word. That's fun.
Wouldn't just like promote be the way?
Promote.
Just say that? like isn't promotionalize like taking something that wasn't a promotion and turning it into a promotion, right? Like, wouldn't that be the use of that word?
I don't know, buddy.
I don't know.
You got me.
You're the one who had English in your degree. Like, I'm just okay. I was just thinking.
Brain, mouth, disconnect, tongue. Just
stuff happens. Things happen.
Ay. Well, go once you're promotionalized, go and enjoy the Behind the Mic episode. Until then, enjoy this episode where we are going to be hosting two new friends of ours, Erica Ehrlich and Tina Lewis, people I met on Twitter, if anyone's surprised. And probably met through somebody at this point. It was probably Christy Cloud. I think that Christy might have been the connection point here for Erica and Tina, but this episode is pretty darn awesome. They are going to bring to us not one, but two, maybe three big ideas that you need to check out. Now, you're going to be ready for this because of the episode title, Common Sense. Commonsense.org is a big platform they're going to talk to us about, tell us how it works, tell us what it offers educators, but they're also going to sneak in some other thoughts. So stay tuned for other tools, other things that you could be engaging in. I'd like to say that this is a huge professional development episode. Yeah. If you're listening as an educator, you're going to want to use these tools, use these resources to up your game. I really it's evident in what they're doing, even in their story. We're going to hear how they came to be friends. It was all about upping their game, but it's pretty exciting to think about tools. That's what this podcast is about. Hopefully tools and resources you can use to improve your classroom experience for yourself, for your students, for, the world.
Yeah.
Changing
space,
one
time,
lesson at a time.
Whatever, wherever you are, improve.
Yeah. At the education arm of Space Force. Yep. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. We know they're working on it. Clearly. Yep.
I don't know. You got anything else? I think we're ready.
We got guests, we got time, we got stuff. Why don't we just go talk to them? You've heard a lot from the two of us. Let's go listen to the people.
All right. If you were watching, listener, you got to see me do all my dances. Now
Yeah.
you're going to go. Here they are, Tina and Erica. Okay, whatever nonsense is behind us, that's me and Josh introducing this interview. We're very excited to be hosting today Tina Lewis and Erica Ehrlich, not Ehrlich. I learned that
Nailed
quickly.
it. You did great
Today.
So great.
When you put the pairing out there so people know it. Thank you both, Tina and Erica, for joining us. You are both not only distinguished educators, seemingly technologists with tons of alphabet soup to go behind your names, but common sense ambassadors. We have so much we're going to learn about you today and about common sense. We're very excited about that. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Well, thank you for having us. I'm excited to be here. Thank you all for the opportunity. Thank you, Erica.
Oh yeah, we'll see. I'm excited because y'all keep looking at each other, and you've like literally teased as we're getting things together. There's some friendship. There's some palpable relationship here. I'm excited to find out.
Definitely.
To get us going, give me a little bit of background of your education, like what got you started as teachers. Where are you as teachers? What's going on? Let's start with Tina. If you don't mind.
Okay. Well, my background.
No, I don't mind.
Well, my background is my bachelor's in biology. So I was actually I can't get my words out. I was a lab.
That's all right.
I was working in a clinical lab as a lab tech for 6 years. And then I came to teaching. So teaching wasn't my first thing, but now I love it. I've been teaching over 7 years, secondary science. So now I'm a life science teacher.
Okay.
All right. You're already way above my head.
Wow.
I had like well, sixth grade. Nope. Erica, how about you?
So I actually did not start in education, never wanted to be a teacher. Funny, I ended up here. So my background, my undergrad was in business administration.
Awesome.
And I decided like my senior year, I was like, I took a class called the Economics of Education, and that's where I decided I wanted to be a teacher. So I got my master's in education with concentration in business. I taught 2 years of high school business, realized I did not like seniors and juniors. So then I moved to middle school.
Same.
So I've taught middle school for 4 years, and then I moved into my current role where I'm an instructional technology coach.
So proud of her.
I love it.
Are you both currently, or
I am still in the classroom right now. I'm still in the classroom, but
right now, dot.
For now, only time will tell where I will go.
For now.
Like Erica wasn't so fond of juniors and seniors. Tina, still figuring it out. Maybe we'll see.
Well,
Tina's doing big things in their classroom. I think that's where she
I need to be in the classroom right now. The classroom still needs me and need teachers like myself in the classroom. It's a big gap. So, yeah.
Love that.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, I'm curious. This is the thing Will and I want to know. We've been holding out on it. Like, how did the two of you get to know each other? If you're like Will and I, you might have a rehearsed version of this.
No.
Like, I feel like Will and I are in a slight marriage where we know how to tell the stories. I'm curious, the two of you guys, how did you end up meeting?
Go ahead, Eric.
No, I don't have anything rehearsed really, but we both worked together in the same district in Montgomery, Alabama, and they started this partnership with a company called Ed Farm. I don't know if y'all have heard of this.
Yeah.
And so Ed Farm started a program called Teacher Fellows, and we were in the first cohort for this county. And we went through all this professional development together. We learned new teaching strategies. This is where our district was transitioning from Chromebooks into iPads and MacBooks. So we got to learn a lot of the new tools and things along the way, a lot of leadership skills, which I think for both of us, Tina can speak on her half, but I know for me especially, just really pushed us into being leaders in our schools. And so we just kind of since then have teamed up and trying to like take over the world basically.
We really have superpowers, STEM superpowers. Mine is planting STEM, and go ahead, Erica. Yep, planting seeds, right. And what is yours?
Mine is Waves of Change. So we've kind of branded ourselves on those two things. Those are the things that have kind of stuck with us the most from our training, and that's our
So even when I forget
always.
mine at times, because apparently I'm nervous, Erica remembers my superpower.
I got you, girl.
This is what the teamwork is for, right?
Yeah,
when Josh
exactly.
has got my back, I know I
Exactly.
can do anything. But if Josh ain't behind me, we give up on this
Right.
stuff. I'd never heard of Ed Farm. I just Googled this. Holy smokes. So this is a huge program. This is a ton of from coding and entrepreneurship to teacher programs, student. This is a huge thing.
We also did student fellows together.
We both did student fellows, the coding clubs together with other students after school. So we've kind of teamed up on a lot of different things together through this.
Okay. And Tina is planting seeds, and Erica's Waves of Change.
Yes.
Those are our brands.
Yes.
Those are our identity brands as teachers.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. So that's why Tina's in the classroom. There's still seeds to plant. There's still right ground.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
Well
and that's why Erica's on the technology. She's just throwing the waves of technology for change. I get it. I see
right.
I
try.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Our superpowers unite.
Do people ever come back to you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're a tsunami. Stop." Is it ever too much?
We're just getting started.
Not yet. But we did a presentation at the end of our Ed Farm, our celebration of learning at the end, and I was with some other people and we did our presentation together. I'm pretty sure if we all get together, it would probably be a tsunami.
Yes, it would be.
Yes, let's change education.
It would be. It definitely would be.
Oh, man.
I love that. I see. This is great. Sometimes, fourth wall here, listener. Sometimes in the pre-talk and getting everything ready, we learn too much. That was a real surprise. I'm excited to know about this because it's like a Easter egg here. We're not going to tell anybody in the episode that Ed Farm's in here, but I hope that they check it out. Edfarm.org. If you've not heard of this, do you know? Is it national? Is this regional to Alabama or your general area?
No. It's national. They're planting seeds in different states, but it's becoming more national.
Great.
Erica, you want to elaborate more?
They work with. Yeah, they are just started. They just started in 2020, and they are. I know from what we have seen at our conferences and things. I know they're in Atlanta. They're in Birmingham. They're in Montgomery, and I think they're somewhere else, but I can't remember.
Southern Georgia.
But I know they're also
wow,
Georgia. Yeah, they're teamed up with that Propel company.
Propel
no.
Is it?
No, Propel.
That's what I thought too.
Handing out propels. You get a propel. You get a...
No, so Propel is going to be as far as what they do, but on the college end for HBCUs, for historically black colleges and universities.
Oh, okay.
That's amazing. I love that. That is so awesome. All right, well, there's the Easter egg for our listeners. I don't think Josh has even put it in the title. It's just hide. No, I'm joking. Maybe we need to put it so that
secret plug.
Make sure folks hear about this one.
Well, it depends on how the AI that generates our titles does it.
AI.
We don't do that. I'm not talking about wait.
Yeah, I write it for sure.
Ed Farm is where your friendship is cultivated.
Oh, I love it. Yes, cultivate change in the community.
Then you're coming along to us. You get connected with us because you've got this background with Common Sense. So I'm a little familiar. I've used it a few times, but for our audience sake, what is commonsense.org?
So Common Sense has several different parts to it. So there's the Common Sense media side of it, where you can check out social media, apps, movies, books, and things. And that's more for parents, and then teachers can use it as well, just to kind of check things out, kind of see ratings, reviews, and things, comments, to see kind of, are these good things that our kids should be looking at or not?
So if I put in John Wick or Lord of the Rings or something, it's going to give me a rating on those.
Yes. Is it appropriate for your class?
Lord of the Rings.
Right. It'll give you age appropriateness.
Awesome.
It'll give it its own little rating. It'll tell you what's kind of some pros and cons of what you can find in those episodes or movies, and what you won't see there. So if there's any profanity or anything like that, you'll see that listed and how much of that is there.
That's awesome.
And then the education side is similar. You can still check out the same things, but they focus a lot on digital citizenship. So that's where I'm going to focus, at least on my end. That's where I did a lot because I was a tech teacher. That's where I just moved out of. And they have a full curriculum, K through 12. All the lesson plans, videos, interactive games, and all that are all included in there. They have things that'll like align it with different core classes. So what subjects you should be teaching of digital citizenship in your core class. So it's not like adding additional things on top of teachers. It's kind of integrated into their curriculum.
Great.
So it has some really great tools in there that teachers can use. And I'll let Tina talk on her SEO and her side of it.
Well, as far as Common Sense, I use it more for the SEL, which is social emotional learning. We are big with SEL, how our students are going to feel. It's all about creating a safe space. So for me, with Common Sense, I like to use it for that aspect. And it's just a daily check-in with my students, how they're feeling. So they have those different aspects. And I also like to incorporate it with Nearpod. Have you all heard of Nearpod?
Ooh.
So they have a partnership with Nearpod as well. So I like to kind of plug and chug from Nearpod and kind of get different things with that. And like Erica, just to piggyback what Erica said with the digital content, I use that. Like they have something about TikTok challenges. What are the do's or don'ts or the risk of stuff like that, and just all different things you can use with Common Sense. Just all depends on the teacher and how you want to incorporate your learning space.
So I'm understanding in that side of things, like they've got curriculum you're pulling in and you're using that in Nearpod. Like that's a part of this as well. You can just like pull it in straight from it.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because like initially when I had taken a look at it, it had looked a little bit more like you were talking, Erica, your first description, right? Like looking at different resources and things and comparing them, but that's interesting. So it actually has curriculum that you're pulling into like Nearpod and you're bringing into your classroom even to help support the SEL side of things. What you're doing is what you're talking about. Okay.
Okay. Yes. And there's many more aspects to it. There's professional development and there's parent involvement. I've done several activities that I did like with my students as like homework activities and I'll just kind of plug, I guess now, that for me as a parent, like sometimes some of the topics that are included in digital citizenship are kind of like hard to bring up with especially our older kids, our teen kids. I have a 12-year-old. So I would send home these assignments with my kids that kind of was like, okay, here's your homework assignment. And it really opened that door for that conversation with your parent, and your parent had to sign off on it, just saying, hey, we discussed it. So I found that a lot of the parents really enjoyed that aspect of it.
So are those like, I'm trying to think of like tough subjects in the world, like shootings and war and like, you know, things we're seeing in the media and like in the like I'm thinking it's like grungier stuff that way.
It's more like along the line. I mean, it does have some of that, but it's more along the lines of like online predators and who you talk to online and things like that. And some other things that you can do on your phone through texting that I don't know if I can say on the podcast. Just things our kids can get into.
That particular lesson I showed to my 7th graders repeatedly, like, hey, this is a real thing. This is real, and it doesn't go away.
If you take a picture on a phone, that exists forever. I mean, you just tell these kids these kinds of things. So I'm thinking those are the kinds of lessons. That's awesome. I didn't know they did that.
That's very cool.
Wow. Yeah, it's really great. And, you know, kids don't think about those things. They're like, oh, that's someone else. It never happens to me.
All right, cool. It could, But we have to tell them that. They don't know until you tell them.
Right. And
we do
every day.
You are sharing. you care and you're showing up, but like common sense is putting this stuff together so that if you're not the expert or if you're struggling with it, you as a teacher can lean on this as a resource to help you approach the subject. I mean, that's just awesome.
Oh yeah. They have full, like, it's, pulls through Nearpod, or they just have like regular Google Slides. It's already up there for you. It tells you exactly what discussion questions to ask, what topics to talk about. I mean, it has everything laid out exactly for you.
Like a whole lesson plan explaining how to approach this to your students and how to facilitate it to your students.
Yeah.
And this is free.
Yes, free.
Yes.
As I like to tell my students, free 99. And that makes sense. And it doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
I love it.
You made Will even more confused. There was like a look on Will's face.
Right.
Like, is it free? And then you said that, Will's like, now I really don't know. I feel like, it's like, I don't, should I pay?
Right.
So I don't. So this is really cool. There's a lot of stuff in there. Now I'm curious, for the two of you, right? So like, I know when I talk with teachers and stuff who look at this type of stuff, I get two reactions. I get one who's like really excited about all the stuff it's going to give them, and then I get like maybe the confused Will, skeptical look of like, okay, how useful could it possibly be, type of thing. So I'm curious, like when you're pulling this stuff in and you're looking at these resources, how do you just kind of use it as it comes? What's kind of the process for you when you're bringing stuff over? Do you adapt? How do you adapt it maybe for your classroom, knowing your students?
Yes.
Is it easy to do that, coming out of common sense, like that type of stuff? Yeah.
You want me to go, Eric? Okay.
So for me, it's really easy. I taught tech classes, so I basically just pulled directly from the curriculum and used it. It's laid out, like I said, each grade level individually. So my 6th graders do not cover the same thing. My 7th graders do not cover the same thing as my 8th graders. So I could pull directly which topics were that I wanted to use if I wanted to pick and choose, but I just did pretty much all of them. And I know within that, like I said, there's like those digital games and things that are also for like, there's more groups like K through 2, 3 through 5, 6 through 8. Okay. And they give those real life scenarios that the kids can kind of like play through and kind of see what the consequences can be from those actions, which is really good as well.
Wow.
That's cool.
Okay. And as for me, like I said, I use it more as the SEL component, and that's just pulling out, because again, my content is science. So I use it for the SEL component and just maybe piggybacking some of the digital aspect and daily check-ins, but all that's pulled from common sense. So it just depends on, let me say this, I'm sorry. It just all depends on the culture and climate of my class, because my first period can be one class, and Erica knows this, but then my 7th period can be a totally different set of kids. Well, they are a different set of kids. So I may have 2 different lessons that I'm teaching from common sense when it comes to SEL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where you're the science expert who's taking the time and working through your state standards or whatever you've got to do for the science instruction, but you're leaning on common sense to give you that backbone where your kids may not be looking for the SEL, but you know they need it. And that's a good example, right? Between period 1 and 7, where it's like the kids need completely different things and common sense has
Well, as educators, we're teaching holistically. To me, you're teaching the whole child. So in this day and age, you have to teach them SEL and not just soft skills and content. You have to teach them everything. So I'm very grateful, or we're very grateful for common sense, because it lays everything out for us. We just teach it.
That's awesome.
That's very cool. I'm curious, have either of you had like for those listening, like a story or like a moment when you're using something from common sense, you're like, oh, that was really cool, that happened with this student, or there was an interaction, or kind of maybe from the games they were playing or something like that really stuck out to you as like, this was a really cool moment? And I'll help you guys out. Tina, I'm going to jump to you first on that question.
I mean, well, it's just really like the TikTok, the things that they have on there is more relatable for the kids. Is the kids see themselves with it. So I don't want to say Facebook because it's kind of dated for the kids. They think Facebook is old. So TikTok is the wave now, right? So of course they're up to date when it comes to content and what kids like or what students like to use. So it's just okay. Oh wow, Miss Lewis or Miss, I'm going to mess up your last name, so I'm just going to say Erica or Mrs. E has something fun and relatable in our class that we can learn and obtain. They're gonna listen, and we captivated them because we gave them something that's relatable. So common sense can help you with that. So that's my spiel and my fun moment was the TikTok.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, it's one of the
I
don't
think
even
for
touch
me,
it, so.
Mine was more on the parent side of things.
Okay.
So like I had parents when I was sending these activities home and things, I had parents contact me directly and, appreciate that they were able to have those conversations. I also had people reach out that were like, hey, I've used, like Josh said, the Common Sense Media for, where I'm researching things for my student. I didn't even know they had this whole educator side, and I didn't know you could do all this, and I didn't know this was here. Thank you so much for sharing. So it was really cool to see people who like maybe have a little bit of a glimpse of kind of what they offer, but not know everything and not have that deep dive into it, and see everything that's available.
That's awesome. I was captured earlier. I'm sorry. I am still stuck on the free moment, and so I had to go digging a little bit because to me, if something's free, somebody's trying to get something, right? These are the days where that's another lesson in the digital citizenship world. Like if you've signed up for free, you're not paying anything for Snapchat. Snapchat is getting something from you. That's your location data. So that's one of those things that always interests me. But I'm very excited to see that from Common Sense's website, they are strictly independent of any company, industry, or political organization. They get grants and foundations from companies and foundations that are not associated with the media, and they accept sponsorships from companies that pose no conflict of interest. I mean, this is like sentence by sentence, word by word, one of the most ethical ways they could stand as a nonpartisan on any front. Bastion of help and hope for educators who want to make sure the stuff they're putting in front of their students, or for parents who want to make sure the stuff they're putting in front of their kids is helpful and not damaging or traumatic in any way. I mean, that is just, I don't know. I'm not going to get all verklempt and teary-eyed here.
Wow.
Try not to.
And it's okay. It's okay.
I love that. Yeah,
this is where we put on the sad music, and Will just kind of looks off as he's tearing up.
There's plenty of companies who we use all the time for free or that give us something. I'm like, all right, I'm okay with what we're giving them, right? They're getting analysis on the effectiveness of the tool or I don't like Snapchat or even TikTok. Some of these tools that are using your eye time, literally how much you're looking to make money. Means that everything they're going to do in the platform is going to make you be in the platform more. Right? That's a nefarious cycle. But Common Sense, has a really positive outlook here for what they're trying to do and how they're trying to be mission driven. So I'm not even an ambassador, but I'm ready to sign up. You tell me where that platform is.
Another aspect that I really loved was they're very open with like where all their information comes from. That was something I found recently, where they kind of get all their information through Project Zero through the Harvard Graduate School of Education. And I never really looked into that. I was just kind of like, oh, they have all this cool information, but I never really thought about where it came from until I started diving more into it. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I start researching, okay, what is Project Zero? And, you just go into it more. And I think it's just very cool how transparent they are about all their information.
They're very transparent.
I'm over here typing notes. Thank you very much.
So for those who might want to jump into this, right, and start taking a look at it, because I can imagine all of us who really love the tech side of things, and Will knows this too. We get that experience, right? We get excited, we tell people about it, and then I see like the moment in most of my professors' eyes or like teachers' eyes where they're like, "This is a big wave of overwhelming thoughts and possible resources.
Yeah.
So, what would be your recommendation for getting started with commonsense.org? Like for somebody who's never used it before, but they're curious to get in, maybe wade their foot in a little bit. They're not quite ready for the whole thing just yet. Where should they get started? How should they jump in?
Just get started. Just go to the website. I mean, that's the easiest thing to, and just go to the website and see what moves you. That's the
And it's funny because me and Tina talked about that beforehand, and we were both like, I don't know, like just go check it out.
Because it's so much.
You'll find something. Like I said, there's so many parts to it. It's like you'll find one area at least to focus on. I think if nothing else, I would say, look into the Common Sense Educator badge, because it kind of gives you an overview of everything that they cover, at least as far as the education side. So if you're scared of kind of where to start there. But if you just kind of want to browse and check it out, just go to the website. There's like she said, the TikTok challenges and thing. There's a ton of webinars on there that you can look at that are about all different kinds of topics. So just get on.
And they also have Digital Citizenship Week that's in October for parents and just the general public to get more information about digital citizenship.
Does the badge result? No, you're fine, Erica. I'll edit the puppy screams later. For some attention. Does the Common Sense Educator badge is that like webinars and like live workshops, or is it like a self-paced experience you can go through?
With the badges,
it's all self-paced. Okay. The educator one. Yeah, I think you have to do. I don't know exactly what's on it, but I know there's like a 60-minute webinar,
you have to do
and some things you have to go through, answer some questions. Cohorts are open now. Applications are open now, actually,
for the ambassador and
for ambassadors and educator.
Awesome. When I pull up commonsense.org/education, the top 3 buttons are digital citizenship, best apps and websites, professional development. Sounds like click one, spin the wheel, click one of those 3 buttons, and that's a great place.
So once they go to the website, choose one of those, and you'll be okay.
Wow. So is there something that you're looking forward to in this current school year that's like down? I don't think your students are going to, maybe your students are going to listen to this. I don't want to presume, right? But is there something that you're looking forward to that's coming from Common Sense in your curriculum? Like, I can't wait for week, 20, because I'm going to do this specific lesson or something like that.
Well, for me, because I'm at a new school, I would lean more towards the digital citizenship so I can introduce more about digital citizenship, because I'm at a new school. Getting them started. Yeah.
Has it? I'm assuming. For your students, it's fresh because you're bringing it to them. But like, is that not big at your school currently?
Digital citizenship, yes, but just with my style and my flair, I'm looking for. And Erica's laughing because she knows me. Yes, I want to plant my seeds. So I'm looking forward for Digital Citizenship Week.
That's great.
Okay,
that's great.
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely Digital Citizenship Week. And I think in my new role as a tech coach, and I cover half of the schools in my district, so it's kind of harder for me to focus directly. But in a lot of my admin meetings, digital citizenship, even though they're already enforcing these lessons and things that maybe aren't through Common Sense, they're still having issues with media balance, with inappropriate content on the Chromebooks and things. And so I'm really trying to push for those admins to kind of encourage the teachers to do those educator badges, as well as moving forward toward getting some Common Sense school recognitions within the year is kind of my goal.
You're going to do it.
And eventually I'd like to move toward a district, but that's way on down the line. I don't even think they know that yet. So that's in my future goal.
Plant those seeds, Erica. Plant those seeds.
That wave of change is coming all over my county. They just don't know it yet.
He's out there like Johnny Appleseed, just throwing them.
That's right.
So that's
right. That's what we do. That's our powers, superpowers.
You can get recognized at your district. Like there's levels of recognition Common Sense puts out there, like based on how you're using it or how much you're using it.
Yes, definitely. The school one is based on how many teachers in your school complete different tasks. You know, they get their educator badge. They plan out the presentations and activities. They have parent involvement, and then the district level is okay. How many Common Sense schools are in your district? And I want to say it's 75%, but don't quote me on that. I don't want to put a wrong number out there.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. Fact check on the website. But that I like this
come
is
back later. Like, Erica's wrong.
You're fine.
Or they come back like, I heard Erica guarantee a high-tech podcast.
Exactly.
You heard it here first.
You were fine, Erica.
No.
If we had something like go to hightechpod.com/common sense to get blah 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 info, that'd be great. But there's nothing, folks. You're just gonna go to the page, we're gonna have links to those buttons. It's gonna be great.
We'll say it again. Go to the website, click on one of the 3 buttons, and then
that's it. That's it. And have fun.
Dive in.
I appreciate them not making it hard, right? I mean, there's tons of apps stuff and tools out there. You got to sign up, give them your left kidney, and hope for the best. It's like, no, just go on, log on, click in, get going. Nice and easy.
I love it.
This is awesome. Thank you so much. Not only for educating us a little bit about Ed Farm early on, great, but Common Sense. I mean, it's one of those things, right? I love the website title, Common Sense, because we don't always have it.
That is correct.
And like you said, these kids don't.
Sadly,
you gotta.
So they say common sense ain't so common.
Yep. We gotta use these kinds of tools to help educate them to make sure that they're safe and that they're going into, like none of us had the problem as kids of wondering whether or not our little clamshell cell phones were even before cell phones, if we had them, take a picture of us in any compromising condition, right?
Exactly.
And now every single one of them has a phone. Every single kid. Like I don't know a child above the age of 8, I guess. Like every child I can think of over 8 has a cell phone. That's in my life. And so it's rampant. We got to make sure we're protecting them so they know those skills.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy. It's crazy.
As teachers, our first care is those kids, and we want to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to and get them ready for the real world.
That's right. It's the main thing.
Yeah.
It all starts by creating that learning space and safe space for them. It's the main thing.
Love that. Love it.
Get me started.
Well, thank you both. Thank you for taking the time with us. Thank you for giving us a chance to just elevate both of your experiences and your successes, but the success you're finding with Common Sense. Hope that continues to help other educators. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your evening. Josh and I are going to wind down in just a moment here, and we'll do a little bit of an outro.
Yes, that is it. That was sorry. Oh, that was wow, that was crazy. So much information, so many resources.
Yep.
It's first of all, thank you again if you're listening, Erica and Tina, for joining us and walking us through all the way you both have used Common Sense from and I mean both actual common sense and the website in your teaching.
It took some common sense to use Common Sense.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure no one's ever made that joke before. Hey, I was throwing myself under the bus too. I led us that direction. I was like, come on, come over here to the joke no one has made. Thank you again for joining us and explaining to us how you guys are using it. I think one of the things my takeaway was commonsense.org to me up until this point, Will, you had more interaction with it, but was really like what you had mentioned, like searching resources on it and kind of like checking tools. Like that was what it was. I didn't realize they had the level of curriculum that they did for stuff like digital citizenship and even connecting into SEL. Like that was interesting. They're connecting back over into there. That's something that Will and I talked about back in episode 110. with Laura Lavery. She talked with us about SEL. So it's cool to see kind of like that connection, that a resource like commonsense.org could also be used to support something like that, where you're trying to support and work alongside your students. So that's interesting. To me, there was a lot more there than I realized.
Yeah. I honestly thought it was kind of like an app repository. Like I forgot I didn't know about the media side for parents and the full breadth of the knowledge that they're containing. So to like, be reminded of the media side and then to hear about the curriculum, I'm like, I'm really happy we did the episode. Yeah. They kind of reached out to us and like, hey, what's the topic? Like common sense. Like, oh, sure, sounds great. I have heard of it. I know I've used it. I'd love to hear more about it. And then they just jumped a tsunami of change on us. Thank you, Erica. With so much opportunity, frankly, that it can use for, you know, what teacher doesn't want good curriculum that they didn't have to write? You know, like we all have time savers. We all want to make things more efficient. But even more so, to Tina's point, she is an expert in science. That's her background. And the SEL stuff is something she cares about, but it's good to rely on an expert who can pull together helpful curriculum, especially on TikTok. If I was teaching, I wouldn't know what to tell students about TikTok except don't use it. That would be my message if I was teaching students. Don't use TikTok.
Teacher Will walks in and says, don't use TikTok, drops a mic that he just happened to bring with him. Apparently he needed it. And then walks out of the classroom. That's what Teacher Will does.
Exactly. And that's not helpful. You know, like it's my attitude towards TikTok. I don't use it. I literally don't even click on. If somebody sends me a TikTok link, I don't click on it.
It's a good call. When you don't have TikTok and you click on those links, it's a horrible experience. In case you were curious.
Well, yeah. Josh is here for the user experience. I'm like, I don't want to use the platform.
Yeah. Both are good reasons.
But like the students need to know why and the dangers and the potential issues. And it's not just TikTok. I'm not trying to bash TikTok. I'm trying to bash
you
TikTok.
are, but it's fine.
But like, you know, what they need to be able to teach these students is how to use social media safely. TikTok, Snapchat, those are some of the top ones.
Internet
of course,
in general,
but
digital technology. I mean, digital, like the stuff they're talking about, it's not just applicable to social media. It's in general being in the digital world that we're in. As it continues to grow and transform and be a different thing, this is becoming even more important. I appreciate what I think Tina had mentioned about like her view as a teacher, that she's not just teaching the content, but she's teaching the whole student, right? And she's as a person and thinking of it that way. And I think that's really cool. And part of the reason I think Common Sense is such a useful and helpful tool.
Yeah. And then you can get their educator badge. You can get recognition for your school and your district. And, you know, I don't think that, I think that some people might look at things like that. I was like, oh, cool, a badge. But there's a value to knowing that your teachers, but you yourself are developing. And that's what these things acknowledge. That's what, like, going to the webinars, attending the sessions, participating in the e-learnings, whatever they've got out there, helps you develop as a teacher. And let's just say, if I was the teacher in the district who needed to teach my students about TikTok, I would have to use Common Sense. I would, I love saying it that way. I would have to use commonsense.org to get anything helpful in front of these students so that they could be better prepared for the environment that they're in. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how to do it. And the issues, even the mistakes I made with social media as a kid and as a young teen and stuff, just aren't the same mistakes people would make today with social media. World. The platforms are completely different.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we were just joking about that today at work, that like my biggest one was MySpace for a long time before Facebook and stuff blew up. And like even the creator of MySpace had the like sketchiest picture ever on his thing. Like Tom, It was a different world back then, man. Like Tom's marketing was just him looking like a creeper who was about to kidnap you. Like that was
my first best friend.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a different world. So I appreciate that. I think as a teacher, you've got so many things on your plate, and especially when you're teaching, like in Tina's case, when you're not teaching technology, you're teaching other content, like you're teaching another thing. It can be difficult to plan all that other stuff out on your own and figure out how that integrates with what you're doing. And so having a starting place like commonsense.org, who clearly, as Will brought up in our interview, is very passionate about being a good resource and not tying them to something that's going to make them an abuser online, or make them somebody taking people's data or thing like that as a free tool. The commitment to that makes them is a good resource to go to in a world like this, because they're going to be able to help pull information for you and do it in a way that they care about your students as well. So they're going to give you something that you can use and leverage that way.
Real talk on that. And even a reason why I looked up their funding and stuff like that. Josh and I do have a background in the Christian faith and in religion, organized religion. And I know tons of resources like this from my youth as a child, where parents would use tools like this to check movies for Christian themes and safety. And I'll be honest, there's a little bit of me that's like, oh, I want to be careful about tools like this, because it can be driven by bias, right? And that's okay in the faith, in the Christian faith. Like, you're trying to use these tools to align with your Christian worldview, your Christian perspective. No problem with that, right? But when I was hearing about common sense today, I was like, I just want to make sure. I want to be concerned for who is behind the tool. Are those ratings, are those things going to be driven by a certain agenda, a certain bench, like, a certain partisanship? And I'm really encouraged to hear that it's not. They are trying to first and foremost protect and support learners, protect and support students. And you know what? Doesn't matter your ideology, your theology, your creed. I think we all, as teachers, as people in education, want that. And so that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm happy that that's their stance. And I'm only revealing my bias. I'm like checking them. I want to check that just because of what I grew up in, and being fearful of what those biases can bring to an environment where those biases themselves can be a trouble at times. So, hopefully Common Sense continues to even review who's a part of it and work through their own diversity statements and inclusion statements. It looks like they're doing really well with that, but these are the things we want to continue. I'm exercising my own digital citizenship by trying to watch these kinds of things as we support tools. Like, we're putting this out on our podcast right now. We talk to 2 people, and then there's 5 listeners. That's great. But if this podcast was ever listened by 100 people, I would want to make sure that the products we're putting out there aren't shiesty, for any better word, right? Like, that they're community driven, that they're teaching and learning focused, that they're not trying to steal information, identities, etc. Ed tech has to make money. I'm not against them making money, but that they're doing it at least in an ethical way. So just check. I'm really excited by this episode and this interview to hear that this tool is available and how much is being put out there. That's really awesome.
Absolutely. So like they said, go check out the website. If you're looking for more resources on how to get there, we'll have that on the episode page on our website, hightechpod.us. We will link out to commonsense.org. You can check out the resources and learn how to connect with Erica and Tina as well. If you're curious to connect with them and learn more about their dynamic and the information they have, you can connect with that as well. But overall, great episode. And I'm excited to check out commonsense.org a little bit more. Even my friends in higher ed and those listening, Tina and Erica had a very K-12 kind of focus to what they're talking about, but all the stuff that applies to kids in high school today, it still applies to college students with digital citizenship and things like that. So the resources from commonsense.org could absolutely be useful to you in those environments as well. So definitely go check it out. That said, it's on in the next thing, folks, in the High Tech Podcast. We move quick. We're snappy. I don't know. I was gonna do a thing, and it's gonna be snappy. I don't know. Episode 120 is next week. That is crazy. 120 episodes. Nuts. Anyway, so we are going to be talking about a handful of things in that episode. One is going to be what is universal to learning. This is something that Will and I'm not gonna lie to you, we didn't have it on our topic list for very long.
We're workshopping.
It just exists. We're workshopping it. But next week we will have it more ironed out for you on the High Tech Podcast. We want to talk a little bit about what applies to learning across any area that you're in, whether we're talking younger kids, we're talking college, or even, as Will and I have been starting to get into a little bit more in the podcast here, learning outside of college, like some of the professional development side, adult learning that happens in less of like an institutional format, but in other places. What is universal to all those places? Are there core things that no matter what place, environment, space that you're in, that helps foster good learning. Will and I believe that there are. And so we're going to talk a bit about that next week. We are also going to come back to an app that we talked about during our opening AI series, part of season 4. If you didn't listen to it, go do that before you do that. So we talked a little bit about Midjourney in that series because we were talking about AI. And at the time, Will and I had a bit of experience playing around with Midjourney, but we were babies, guys. We had just started playing around. We're going to come back to that conversation because just like anything in life, Will and I learned more about it over time. And Midjourney and I have had a journey, a quest, you may say, an adventure.
Yes.
It's been good. It's been bad. Sometimes I've wanted to kick Midjourney off the mountain. Other times I've wanted it to come with me all the way to Mordor. You know what I mean? There's been a vibe with Midjourney the last couple weeks. And so we want to come back to it, talk a little bit about how to use it, how to leverage it, and some of the ideas we have for how it could be helpful in education and training. So check that out next week as we share some of our tips and tricks for using Midjourney and how we think it can be helpful for you. Anyway, that is next week. We are back to today. Again, you can find us at hightechpod.us. That is our website. If you want to find us on social media, Twitter or YouTube are the two main places you can find us at High Tech Podcast. We still have not been good about getting the Instagram or Threads stuff up in our notices. What are we on there again?
Yeah.
What are we?
They're both at High Tech Pod, not
at
podcast,
High Tech Pod.
But at High Tech Pod.
At High Tech Pod. So you can check us out there. But again, hightechpod.us, our website, shows you where to go no matter where we're at. So you can go check out our website as well. And then also, if you want to hit us up, you can also email us at inbox@hightechpod.us if you're interested on being on the podcast. You have a topic you want to talk about. You want to tell us how cool we are. I don't know, whatever you're feeling in that moment, you can hit us up at inbox@hightechpod.us, or you can also DM us on Twitter. And by us, I mean Will, who oversees the Twitter. He will be the one to respond to you. But don't worry, I'm there in spirit. So you can check us out in any of those options. Again, thank you for joining us for another week as we continue what it looks like to harness common sense, technology, and great tools in the classroom, whether online or in person. See ya.
See ya.